In focus, Trump border czar Tom Homan. Look, Tom, I have so many questions. First of all, if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOJ on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, it puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
Interesting.
So, it's all about controlling the message. I try to be transparent. I promise American people will be transparent in operations, but it's obvious. We can't be having all these different news outlets out there with us on various raids. Bill Maloogian, great guy, but we got a lot of OPSEC concerns we're dealing with right now. But the leak, who we identified today, we'll deal with that today. But it's not a game. I want to put it out to whether it's Governor Phil Murphy or the rest of the people that who want to game this. It's not a joke. This is serious business, and they need to stop, or we won't prosecute them through the Department of Justice.
Look, I know our audience was paying attention when that agent or officer told our reporter Bill Maloogian there have been some intel leaks. Like, those are very specific. So I understand what you're saying. You mentioned my state's governor, Phil Murphy. Yeah, he's trying to walk back the comments that he made about possibly, I guess it would be aiding and abetting if you're keeping somebody on your property. But we'll see what happens. He says that's not what's happening with somebody he thought was on his property or said was. I do want to ask you this because I've heard you say, Tom, that you expect more violence. And you were talking specifically on the border, but why would that be?
Well, look, President Trump is, promises made, promises kept, right? He said he's going to secure the border. The numbers are down significantly. Look, and we talk about between the port of entry. I know you reported earlier the numbers are down about 67%. Actually, between the ports of entry, because that takes into account port of entries. Between the ports of entry, we're down closer to 87%. As we lock that border down, we're taking money out of the pockets of the criminal cartels, right? They've made record amounts of money in the last 4 years, smuggling aliens, sex trafficking women and children, moving drugs across the border. As we secure that border, their business is going to drop, which means billions of dollars less they make. They're not going to go away quietly. So I truly expect violence to increase on the southern border just because of who they are. That's why President Trump has designated them a terrorist organization, because they are. They've killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. They're not going to go away quietly. So we're going to expect more violence on the border. But let me get back to ensure what Phil Murphy says. When he goes out there and does this, plays this game, if the governor can do it, he sends a message to the whole world, they can do it too. Again, putting our officers at grave risk. It has to stop, or they will be prosecuted. I'm working very closely with the Department of Justice to hold people accountable. This stuff ends today.
Well, look, I had Voters' Voices on the program live yesterday and was talking with people about what the first 16, at that point, now 17 days of this has been like. Here's what one voter told us.
I go to Chicago and I see the immigration crisis at the forefront, in front of my school, on the corners. I don't think we should wait until unpopular mayors like Brandon Johnson lose their elections. Their number one goal should be to be understood, and that's using their bully pulpit, that's advocating for the people that pay tax dollars to them. It's always, whose humanity are you looking out for? Wow. And why not us, that we're paying so many tax dollars?
And that young man, one of the Democrats we had on the panel who voted for Donald Trump this time around. Your reaction?
Look, I think the American people, they gave President Trump a mandate. Immigration, the border security, immigration enforcement is number one, and we're going to keep President Trump's promise. I looked at the numbers this morning. ICE has already arrested just short of 12,000 people in this country. Vast majority are of criminals, public safety threats. And that's what we're trying to do. And for any mayor or governor who doesn't want public safety threats removed from the communities, I find it hard to believe that. But we're going to do it, with or without them. If they're not going to help, get out of the way. But don't cross that line. Do not impede our operations. Do not knowingly conceal or harbor an illegal alien, because we will seek prosecution. We're going to do what the President promised American people. We're going to make our communities safer by targeting those who are in the country illegally, that have criminal record, or a public safety threat. That's what we're doing. But if you force us into the community and not let us get the bad guy into jail, that's going to put the community at risk. It means more collateral arrests. It means more non-criminals being arrested, because when we find the bad guy, which we will, there's going to be others with them, others that may not be a criminal priority, but we're not going to instruct ICE to walk away from them like the Biden administration did. We're going to enforce immigration law.
I tell you, Tom Homan, you have those gang members and illegals on the run, with reports of people trying to move around the country now to get away from operations that they know are coming, and maybe tipping each other off. We'll see. We'll cover the stem to stern, especially as you find out what happened with those intel leaks. Thank you.
Look, so Harris, we will not be happy to every single TDA member. TDA is going to be eradicated from this country. I will not rest until every one of them are in prison or at Gitmo. That's a promise I'm making to the American people.
Tom Homan, the border czar for President Trump, on it. Thank you very much.